friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share my April TBR and the details for my April reading wrap-up live show at the end of the month. I have 3 different like readathons / challenges that I will be participating in April, but at the same time I have some major plans in April and I don't know how much I'm actually going to read, so stay tuned for that reading wrap-up live show at the end of the month, because I don't know, things are going to be crazy this month, but I'm so excited and I can't wait to share with all of you. But today we're talking about the books. Okay, so I am going to be participating in Flowerathon hosted by Rachel at Happy Go Lovely Sleeves. It is April 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the whole theme of the readathon, obviously being called Flowerathon, is to read books with flowers on the cover. So I'm going to get into that in a minute. And then the second thing that I am doing is all throughout the month of April over on my Patreon, which if you are not a part of my Patreon community, you are missing out. All throughout the month of April, I'm doing a book of the month clear out, which means whatever books that I have are on my TBR that are book of the month books, like book of the month copies, like they actually have like the little, you know, logo on them, whether I got them at the book exchange or whether I got them from the subscription service myself, I am reading only book of the month books. Now, if I finish all of my unread book of the months, then I can move on to other things, but my goal is to solely read book of the month books, which is going to be so hard because there's so many releases coming in April that I am so excited about. But I'm only reading book of the months in April until I finish them, then I can move on to other things. And then the third thing that I am participating in is, again, part of my Patreon community. If you join the $7 tier, the Barn Owl tier, then I do, like, every once in a while, I do different readathons. And at the end of April, I am doing a halfway to Halloween readathon. It's a, like, 24-hour deal, and I'm just really excited for it because we're halfway to Halloween, y'all. Let me go ahead and jump into the books now. Sorry for the long intro, but the first few books, the first 5 books, all book of the month books, and they all have flowers on the cover. So, here you go. These are the 5 books. The first one being The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. This is a fantasy historical fiction, and those are 2 genres that I don't usually read, but the premise of this one sounded so cool. It says, amid the shrouded parlors of Victorian London, 2 daring women hunt for truth and justice in the perilous art of conjuring the dead. And this is the same author that wrote The Lost Apothecary, and I didn't read that book, but I am intrigued, and both of her books have really beautiful covers. It's set in 1873, an abandoned chateau on the outskirts of Paris. A dark seance is about to take place, led by acclaimed spiritualist 𝒂𝒏𝒌𝒔, I don't even know how to say the last name, known worldwide for her talent in conjuring the spirits of murder victims to ascertain the identities of the people who killed them. She is highly sought after by widows and investigators alike. Oh my goodness. It says, alluring suspense and sultry prose, entrancing tale that explores the blurred lines between the truth and illusion and reveals the grave risks women will take to avenge the ones they love. Next up, flowers on the cover and book of the month, Lunar Love by Lauren Kung Jessen. And this I actually picked in January. And this is a romance story about Olivia, who is excited, terrified to be taking over her grandmother's matchmaking business. But when she learns that a new dating app has made her Popo's traditional Chinese zodiac approach all about animal attraction, her emotions skew more towards furious / outrage, especially when LA's most eligible bachelor, Bennett O'Brien, is behind the app that could destroy her family's legacy. And I'm sure it's like kind of like an enemies to lovers romance story between those 2, but I'm going to read it and find out. It has flowers right down here, and obviously this one has flowers like all in here. So sorry I didn't point out flowers. Oh, it also has like flowers on the back. Okay. Next up is Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne. Has flowers in the little illustration there. It also has them on this back cover. I know a lot of people are reading this, but in this heartfelt tale of one woman's quest to reinvent herself, the author delivers a poignant, witty reflection of how the hopes, dreams, and stories from our past shape our future. And then next up is Sally Hepworth's newest release, The Soulmate. Very excited about this because I recently read The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth and really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I have heard of all of her books. This one is the most thrillery. Prepare yourself for a thrilling, addictive novel about marriage, betrayal, and the secrets that push us to the edge. And this latest book, you know, Sally Hepworth. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And there are flowers right down there on the bottom of the cliff. And then the last book that I pulled that has flowers on the cover is In a Book Club Far Away by Tiff Marcello. And there are flowers in the wallpaper on this one. And then again on the back. This one is about 3 different women who met when they were stationed in upstate New York. And 2 of them were in the military and 1 was like an officer's wife. And they became friends because of a book club. One of them invited the girls to the book club and they became friends. And now 10 years later, we know that a rift happened or something broke up the friendship, but now they're like coming back together. And it's told in like kind of 3 different POVs, dual timeline. You're trying to find out what happened in the past and what's happening currently. This one I am currently reading. That's why I know a little bit more about this one, but I'm really pleasantly enjoying this one. I am on page 81 and I'm very excited to continue in this. This is like a women's fiction type book, but I love it because it's like book related, but also friendship related. And I'm really hoping I love this one. 4 more books, book of the months that are unread, except for I haven't received my April box yet. And I am definitely going to have to read that one as well. So stay tuned, like I said, for the end of the month. My best friend Jessie from Reading with Jess, her book club is reading The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This one came out in February and I know her and Liv are going to be discussing it sometime in April. Not really sure of the date, but if I know it, I will put the information in the description box. This one is in Elusive Writers Retreat and all these authors go there and then crazy things happen. I know this has been getting a lot of buzz. Some people have loved it. Some people have hated it. We'll see where I fall. Also, my halfway to Halloween, I am hoping to reread the X-Hex so I can read the Kiss Curse. So I didn't love this. It was more like, I don't know, I wanted it to be different than it was. I can't really explain it because it's been like a couple of years. When did this come out? 2021. So it's been a couple of years since I initially read it, but I didn't know it was gonna have a sequel and then a sequel popped up. I hope it's just a duology and no more is gonna be written. So when Jessie came to visit me in November, she had both of these and I was like, can I take both of those off of your hand so I can reread and then read this one? And she was like, yes. So I have these and I thought halfway to Halloween, it's great to read witchy books. I initially think I rated this 3 stars, but I'm interested to see what happens in the second book. So we're going to find out on Patreon. So if you want to hear my thoughts on these, join me on Patreon. You can join the readathon. It's just 24 hours. We're doing reading sprints. There's photo prompts. There's reading prompts. All of the fun things. I just always read what I want to read rather than trying to fit the prompts. But I know some people love prompts. Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. This is a Christmassy winter like romance story, but it's the last book, unread book of the month that I have, so I'm going to try to squeeze it in. 1 year ago, recent Portland transplant Ellie Oliver had her dream job in animation and a Christmas Eve bookstore meet cute with a woman she fell in love with over the course of a single night. But after betrayal the next morning and the loss of her job soon after, she finds herself adrift, alone, and in desperate need of money. Since finding work at a local coffee shop, she's just getting through the days until Andrew, the shop's landlord, proposes a shockingly drunken plan, a marriage of convenience that will give him his recent inheritance and alleviate Ellie's financial woes and isolation. They decide to spend the holidays together at his family cabin to keep up the ruse, but when Andrew introduces his new fiancée to his sister, Ellie is shocked to discover that his sister is Jack, the mysterious woman she fell for last Christmas Eve. Now, over one very festive week, Ellie must choose between the safety of a fake relationship and the risk of something real. obviously she's gonna go for the real thing, right? Like, wouldn't you go for the real thing? Anyway, all right, so these are the 9 books that I am definitely hoping to read, but I am gonna be trying to include my April book of the month pick, which, yes, I'm very excited about. But now I want to talk to you about the April Reading Wrap-Up Live Show details. Reading Wrap-Up Live Show is going to happen on April 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm having 2 new faces on. I'm having Sarah from Sarah's Shelves. Sarah and I go way back. Like, I feel like we've been low-key friends for a very long time. So I'm so excited to have her on my channel. I loved having her on my podcast. So it's like a great fit. Also, yes, I have a podcast. Check it out in the description box, link down below. And then I'm also going to have Camilla from Burrows and Books. I always want to say Books and Burrows, but it's Burrows and Books. I'm so excited to have Camilla on. We haven't interacted as much as me and Sarah, but I know her and Sarah are really close. So I'm hoping that it will be a very dynamic live show. And then, like I said, I have a lot going on in my personal life in April. So like, I think you should tune in to find out what I actually managed to read, see if I knock these book of the months off of my TBR. Like I said, April 30th, 8 p.m., Sarah and Camilla. I am going to have all of the information linked in the description box, so definitely make sure you check it out. I will at some point go ahead and schedule that live show, and then you can set a reminder. So make sure you're following me on Instagram at Lavender Mud. If you want to check out my podcast, it's called Talk Bookish to Me. The Instagram handle for that is at Talk Bookish Podcast. And yeah, you should definitely join Patreon, check out my podcast, all of the things, because I'm always doing super fun things over there. But anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all have a great day or night, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Bye, friends.